Good afternoon. Happy Valentine's Day. Our theme is proclaiming God's love. And our own selves proclaim God's love in us through our own lives, in our words and deeds, starting within our home and families. I choose 1 Corinthians 13, verses 4 to 7 as my text or reference, because it's relevant to review how we love as Christians. And celebrating Valentine's Day give me an opportunity to examine myself too. Let's all together read what the Apostle Paul wrote to the Corinthians in 1 Corinthians 13, 4 to 7. Love is patient, love is kind, it does not envy, it does not boast, it is not proud, it is not rude, it is not self-seeking, it is not easily angered, it keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. These are descriptions of selfless love that only God could perfectly give without changing, because He's the only one faithful until the end. We call ourselves Christians who try to live for Christ in a Christ-like life. So we try every day to follow this selfless love that God is commanding us to do. Myself is an example of a trying hard copycat, of trying and falling and trying again and falling again. I'm glad that our God Himself is love and He is patient and forgiving, that I can come to whenever I fall short of His love. I wonder if there's one here who can always forgive right away after being offended or hurt. Or a married person here who is patient enough to wait for 2 to 3 hours every time, and the agreed time to meet is 15 to 30 minutes only, without saying any words like, "By golly, I grow roots under my feet waiting for you." Or, "I could have finished my work if I did not waste my time waiting for you." Or, "Could you be sensible enough to know that I'm not your slave waiting on you?" Well, maybe when guys were still courting their wives, may have displayed extraordinary patience on them. But I doubt it now. Speaking from my experience with my husband and with me, I'll say it loud and clear. Whoa. The kind of love that God wants us to have is the agape love. It's a Greek word which is selfless, caring, self-sacrificing, and committed to seek the highest good of one loved. Selfless love is patient. 2 weeks ago, I come home from work very tired and sleepy, and I found the house dirty and disorderly. I know that's not my daughter who made it that way, but my husband, who's very tired working with one hand due to accident last year. So he doesn't have a strong grip of things that he holds, like the throw pillows, plates, forks, and even foods, and you'll see spills all over the house. I said some harsh words to my daughter that hurt her feelings. And because I was mad, I didn't care whatever would be the outcome. I kept my frustrations and didn't talk to her for a week, which in retaliation, she didn't talk to me for 2 weeks. I quickly found out I was the one who is hurt more, because I love all my children and I would lay my life for them. So going back to God to erase discomfort brought by my anger, frustrations, and worry, I review these verses, ask God to transform my heart and make a way to patch the gap that separates me and my daughter. I'm willing to give up my parental authority for now, for the sake of her safety. God did make a way that following day on Monday, Kenny can pick her up from school because he had to do some overtime works. So I called my daughter and she right away answered the phone. That means she's willing to talk to me now. I told her to ride the 2 buses to go home, and I'll meet her at the last bus stop, which is on Loma Alta and Fair Oaks. She had to walk in the dark by the time she would arrive there at 8:15 p.m. But if she misses the bus, she would arrive there at 8:55 or 9 or even later. I myself was scared to walk in the dark alone. So I called my neighbor, Elisa, who is always generous to us, and she drove her car with me and waited for 20 minutes. Because I was right. When I called my daughter where she's at, she told me that she missed the bus. So we just went to Fair Oaks and Colorado and picked her up. I am relearning to be patient, slow to anger, endure personal wrongs without retaliating. To bear with others' imperfections, faults, and differences. Give them time to change, room to make mistakes without coming down hard on them. Selfless love is kind. Kindness is patience in action. A kind person is disposed to be helpful. That reminds me again of Otto. He seeks our needs and looks for opportunities to meet those needs without repayment. He's tender and forgiving when wrong. The kind person shows kindness in response to harsh treatment. Kindness motivates others toward positive change. Selfless love is not jealous. The jealous person wants what others have too. Selfish to applaud others' success. In the family, a jealous husband refuses to trust his wife. He doesn't want to recognize her abilities and contributions. He's jealous of the time that the wife is spending with the children or with her friends. He wants it all for himself. In James 4:2, he said that jealousy is often the source of quarrels and conflicts. Selfless love does not brag and is not arrogant. These two stem from selfishness and related to jealousy. Jealousy is wanting what someone else has. Bragging is making others jealous of one has and an outward manifestation of pride. The braggart tries to impress others of his great accomplishment in order to make himself look good. But love is trying to build up the other person. Love is humble, and the humble, loving person is aware that everything he has is an undeserved gift from God. So he doesn't boast, but thankfully uses what God has given to serve others. Selfless love is not rude. Love has good manners and does not offend others. It is courteous, polite, sensitive to the feelings of others, and always uses tact. Selfless love does not seek its own. It is not selfish. It has been observed that the cause of discord in Christian homes, communities, and churches is that we seek our own way and our own glory. Selfless love is not easily angered. Selfless love does not keep a record of wrongs. I confess to you now, this my husband didn't know. Some 7 to 8 years ago, I wrote down all the things that my husband did which hurt my feelings, and I kept for a year. Then tore them apart when Valentine's Day comes, because it is the day that I can review and examine my heart if there's really love in it, and what I do is motivated by selfless love. But I tell you that since 4 to 5 years or 4 to 5 Valentines ago, I stopped writing them because I grew tired already. And maybe I ran out of notebooks. Love doesn't keep a tally of wrongs and bear a grudge until everyone is paid for. Love forgives. Selfless love does not rejoice in unrighteousness, but rejoices with the truth. Love is never glad when others go wrong. Although love is kind and overlooks the faults of others, it does not compromise the truth or take a soft view of sin. To allow another person to go on in sin, whether it is known sin or a blind spot, is not to seek his best. It is not love. We must correct him in love. Selfless love always protects. Love doesn't broadcast the problems of others, nor that it run down others with jokes, sarcasm, or put-downs. Love defends the character of the other person as much as possible within the limits of truth. Selfless love always trusts, always hopes. Love is not suspicious and doubting of the other person's character and motives without good reason, even if his actions offended you. If there's a problem, love doesn't jump immediately to blame the other person. It does not expect the one loved to fail, but to succeed. Love refuses to take failure as final, but instead it says, I know you can. You can do it because God in you is able. It rests on the promises of God that He is working all things together for good for those who love Him and are called according to His purpose. And so love always hopes. Selfless love always perseveres. Love means hang in there despite difficulties in life, including relationship problems at home or even in the church. When people don't like some things happening in the church, they go to another church which does things that they like. Married couples run into problems in their marriage, grow tired of the effort and bail out, resort to separation or divorce. But God's love is to forgive and renew the marriage. Love endures all things. These verses in the Bible protected me from falling out of marriage in the first couple of years of our union. My husband didn't know that I was already contemplating on it. Just now maybe. But I consulted God and He gave these verses back to me through my daughter Echel. Her full name is Corazon, which means love or sweetheart. I called her in the Philippines and asked, what is that verse in the Bible that describes love? And she gave me that. First Corinthians chapter 13. I realized how selfish I was not to acknowledge and be thankful of this man who puts off his own and took my 5 children as his own. Nobody can love this perfectly but God only, because He Himself is love. Put God in verses 4 to 7 instead of the word love, and we have a description of Him. God is patient and kind. He does not envy, does not boast, not proud. God is not rude, not self-seeking, is not easily angered. He keeps no record of wrongs. God does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. He always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. I tell you, I am falling in love again, trying to make it right with my loving and forgiving God. Just like me, where are you at in imitating God's love? How do you express it to your loved ones and your church family? And on a scale of 1 to 10, that's very little to abundant, how much love did you receive during the last week? And how much did you give?
Amen.